to be a citizen of a country, of a tribe, of whatever. What does it mean to be a citizen? What's the difference between being a citizen or, let's say, a slave? There's been slavery throughout history. What's the difference? Well, here's one of the main differences. There are several, but one of the main differences is this. Since I'm a citizen of the United States of America, I'm not a slave to the United States of America, I'm a citizen. That means I have a relationship with my government. You have a relationship with your government. Relationship means this. There are obligations that go both ways. That's really a huge part of being a citizen. As a citizen of the United States of America, I have obligations. Yes, sadly, taxes are part of that. I pay my taxes. I get just as mad about it as you get, but I pay my taxes. I pay way too many, but I pay my taxes, just like you do. Okay, that's part of it. Service to your country in some way, in one way or another. I have always felt a duty to my country. It's a big reason why I joined the Marine Corps. That's part of being a citizen. I feel blessed to be here. I wanted to serve it if I had to. I wanted to fight for it. I ended up having to do that, but that's part of being a citizen. Okay, so those are my obligations. But because I'm not a slave, because I'm a citizen, my government has obligations too. You see, this is not a one-sided thing. If I was a slave, it'd be one-sided. I would have to just work and do my duty and serve and expect nothing at all in return. But I'm not a slave. You're not a slave. You're a citizen. So the government, all governments, this isn't unique to ours, but the government has obligations it has to fulfill as well. Otherwise, there'd be no point to being a citizen. And so what are those obligations? Well, as in so many cases, you can tell a lot about what obligations the government should have towards its people by looking back towards the founders of this country and the Constitution. And what they really laid out, in a very general way to put it, is the government's job is to protect you from entities you can't defend yourself against on your own. Meaning, it's not necessarily the government's job to make sure the robber can't break into your house. Obviously, you want government to clean up crime, but if China decides to invade, well, I don't care how many guns and ammo you have, you're going to need some government-level assistance. Government, really its only role in a free country should be the protection of its citizens. Guard your border, keep the illegals out, protect you domestically against any foreign invasion, and a huge part of citizenship, not just now, but historically, throughout the history of the world, is protection for you when you're abroad, when you leave the country, when you leave the United States of America. How it's supposed to work is you're not just a random individual walking through Greece. You're a United States of America citizen. You are a citizen of this country, and that means the power of this country, the diplomatic and killing power of this country, they stand right behind you. Can't see them, but they're right behind you. And historically, that is how it has worked. You know that biblical story of Paul? Remember that story where Apostle Paul, everyone knows this story, whether you go to church or not, everyone knows this story. Apostle Paul is being flogged. They're beating him to death. And what's Paul say to him? You know I'm a Roman citizen, right? I'm paraphrasing, but that's what he tells him. You know you're doing this to a Roman citizen, right? What happens? Whoa, stop. Let's get the guy some bandages. You need some water, Paul? Are you feeling okay? Why? Why did that put the fear of God, Paul, flogging Paul? It wasn't because the Roman Empire had some specific love of Paul. After all, they did end up chopping his head off. It was because the Roman Empire protected its citizens when its citizens were abroad. You can tell people, I am a Roman citizen, and whoever you said that to, whether it be government entities or criminals, they knew if I mess with this person, Rome will come for me. It's part of the reason citizenship in the Roman Empire was so treasured. You know you've earned that, right? As a citizen of the United States of America, you have earned that. That is the government's obligation to you. Whether you're in Greece or Mozambique or Russia or anywhere else on the planet, if you pull out a passport, an American passport, I don't care whether it's a terrorist group or whether it's a nation state, that should put the fear of God in whoever is messing with you. The fear should be, if I touch a hair on the head of this American citizen, the United States of America, they're going to come for me. They might do terrible things to me. And that can mean different things. It can mean diplomatic things are done, sanctions, things like that. On a more extreme level, if you're harming an American citizen, maybe you're a terrorist organization or otherwise, maybe some very bad men will come see you in the dark of night if you have touched a hair on the head of an American citizen. It's an obligation the government has to you. And I've been so angry in recent years watching that privilege of citizenship, watching that go away, watching the United States government slowly but surely decide that this is just a one-way relationship after all. Oh, you have all your obligations still. Oh, you better pay those taxes. IRS will be at your door tomorrow. But if you get in trouble abroad, it's not that big of a deal. Don't really care. And this is, I just want to say this is what happens when empires begin to crumble, when they begin to go downhill, when they begin to lose their influence abroad because very corrupt, evil people have taken over the reins at home. It's been going on for years. Remember Otto Warmbier? That'll always make me mad. It always will. Teenage boy goes to North Korea. Very dumb thing to do, but goes to North Korea. Apparently he ripped down a poster. That was what he was accused of. Ripped down a poster. Didn't murder someone or something like that. Yeah, they took him. We'll never know exactly what they did to him. But we know from the lawsuit that came afterwards and from the forensic investigation that he was tortured terribly. The North Koreans grabbed an American citizen, tortured him in some way. There were rumors about his teeth being removed, pushed back in, oxygen deprivation to his brain. His parents said he had scars on his feet. North Korea is famous for this, but he was returned to his parents in a coma-like state where he did nothing but scream incoherently for the little bit of time he had left on the planet, and he died. North Korea grabbed an American citizen and tortured him to death. And North Koreans didn't die for that. And North Koreans should have died for that. It's true. If you're a North Korean government official at any level and you had a hand in torturing an American citizen, you should have been killed by the United States of America. It's true. That's not extreme. Oh, I'm sure they'll love that quote somewhere, but that's how it's supposed to work. That's how citizenship works. The second you're in North Korea, you're a dirtball North Korean commie, and you grab Otto Warmbier for tearing down a poster, and you're thinking about pulling his fingernails out, you should pull out his passport and see he's an American, and it should make you afraid. Oh, whoa, hold up, guys. Pause, no more torture. This is an American. Let's get him on a plane, fly him first class back to America. I don't need that kind of heat. Instead, nothing was done. I think about this American citizen. Hamas just executed an American citizen. They just shot him. And no fear whatsoever. No fear whatsoever. In fact, well, this is what they said about it.
Mr. President, do you think it's time for Prime Minister Netanyahu to do more on this issue? Do you think he's doing enough?
No.
What? How about terrorists don't get to touch American citizens, but we are led by such despicable, evil people, all they can do is criticize Netanyahu. Remember Remember back in the day when Obama was in office? It's more than just citizens. Remember when the Iranian Navy managed to capture a bunch of United States Navy sailors and hold them hostage? Do you remember it? Oh, I remember it like it was yesterday. I'm just mortified now at how many people, entities, terrorists, nation states around the world feel completely comfortable abusing the American citizen, and how the government, they don't feel any obligation at all. Because to the government, and this is why, because we are led by corrupt, evil people, and the government now, you are not a slave, but that's exactly how they view you. They look at you and they don't feel any obligation towards you. They don't feel some duty to protect you. All they care about is themselves and their power and their money. And these people don't ever stress for a moment about the American people, not domestically and not on foreign soil. Tim Walz wants to be your next vice president. He was asked about the American citizen who was just executed, and he was too busy with the ice cream.
What's your reaction to the 6 hostages being found dead in Kabul?
Thanks, everybody.
No outrage, no sense of duty, no sense of honor. The people who lead this country have completely lost what it means to lead, to be a citizen, to be in government. They've lost what citizenship means. They don't care at all, and it drives me up the wall. All that may have made you uncomfortable, but I am right. I would thank you for coming to my YouTube channel, but I know how brilliant it is, and I know you love it here. So subscribe and watch. We're going to start really ramping things up and putting some funny stuff, some interesting stuff out there, some collaborations. Either way, my YouTube channel is officially the place to be. So stick around.